Like I said, I can't even walk properly because of this. Oh, there he is.
Smile, Ted.
Oh. What is that? Welcome back, everybody, to the Chip Lunch podcast, and it is awesome to have you along with us. And I think we might have one of the tallest human beings I've ever met.
Not just guess. Not just guess.
I think you've got to be up there, though.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ted, by the way. Yeah, I think you're pretty tall.
Yeah,
Do you like lording it over other people?
absolutely. Love it.
I'd love to know that, you know how like with babies they measure it in percentiles, like top
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
I'd love to see what
Yeah.
percentile you would be in.
Definitely be up
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah. Were you the tallest person in your year?
No.
No.
Really?
It was like the third.
Wow.
Really? Whoa,
Yes.
the basketball team.
They were both in basketball. Yeah,
Yeah, wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. Well, you do have very tall parents.
yeah that's true. Got the genes for it.
Welcome, Braden, I should say.
Oh, thank you.
How are you?
Welcome, Joel. I'm
Got a-
good.
got a
I'm very
live,
good.
new Live Free hat on.
Got a stole a live free hat.
Stole it.
Good.
No, you paid
I
for
will
it.
pay for it. But it looks good.
Soulrevival.shop.
Always buy, sell,
Bye,
sell,
bye, bye,
sell.
bye, bye, bye,
Sell,
bye.
sell, sell.
Yeah. And we've got Hudson behind the camera as well, drinking. It's a very suspicious looking drink. It's like,
Drinking slime or something.
yeah, it does look like slime. Isn't? Would you say it was a Voost? Is that right? A Voost tablet with Powerade. What?
Yeah.
What did you do last night that you need to have Voost and Powerade? I was
Ooh,
working to
that's fair enough.
2:30, and he's
Yeah.
here
Yeah.
before 9 o'clock.
Win the morning.
Impressive.
Man United are winning 1-0.
Oh,
No,
whatever.
Less excited about that.
Oh, 2-0 now.
I don't think anyone can hear what Hudson's saying.
No. Yeah. You can just put subtitles in.
Yeah, that's a
Make
good
him say
point.
whatever we want.
He can put subtitles in. That's the best thing about having an editor, is that you can just make them do whatever you want,
Yeah.
and they have to spend hours and
Dance,
hours.
puppets.
Yeah, exactly. Hours and hours doing it.
Yeah, like Chip Crown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he turned me into a bus driver,
Oh, did you?
and he turned Ethan into a fish. Which is pretty
That's
funny.
just a Snapchat filter, bro.
Yeah. What are you going to turn Ted into? A tree. Just like things that are really tall.
Skyscraper.
Yeah.
A step ladder.
Yeah.
A step ladder. No, one of those big, like really, really tall ladders.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking, when you said step ladder, I was thinking like maybe the one that people
Yeah,
have in
like
their
3
kitchen
steps,
that
yeah.
are like
Can't reach
a
the
step
cupboards.
to get to the top cupboard.
Do you have to always get things out of the cupboard for people too?
Not really, because I live in a really tall family, so it's alright.
Yeah.
That's right. I live in a tall family. That is true. All your siblings are pretty tall as well.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yes, welcome to the podcast, Ted.
Thank you.
And the reason we got you on is because you just finished your HSC like
Yeah.
3 days ago.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yep.
Oh,
Wow.
that's pretty good. And how are you feeling?
I don't know. I don't think it's sunk in yet, but it's like it's kind of good to be free.
Yeah.
And
Did
find-
you wake up on Wednesday and just go like, what am I going to do today? Or did you
Yeah,
have
I'd been kind of doing that a little before. So I'd had like a week and a half gap. So it was like,
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always
You told me that the other day. And I was like, no, I don't think I had that long a gap between exams when I did the HSC.
yeah.
What was your last one? Was design and tech, you told me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did you go? Because you said the questions were annoying.
They were kind of annoying, but they were kind of like just standard questions. There wasn't really anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
But I kind of just sat there for like half of it. Just
Okay.
not doing anything.
That's good.
I finished early.
Oh, you finished early?
Yeah.
Do you like design and tech though?
Not really.
I
I
thought
kind
you
of
did.
like the major part, but
Yeah.
I
Oh
probably
yeah.
wouldn't
Did you do?
recommend.
So did you do a major work?
Yeah.
What was that?
Redesigned Caravan Park, Brill Pines. I did.
Oh,
Oh,
did you?
Yeah. I don't know. I made like a model of it and like just moved the layout around. I don't
Yeah.
know. I
What
could-
did you like? What was the main thing you're like? This has to change to make it better.
I made it a loop instead of like the road's like a J shape, so I made it like a full loop, and then I added set sites Caravan Park.
That makes
so
sense.
It's not just go wherever you want.
You get this particular site.
Yeah.
when you
Well,
go.
there's like a mix of that, and then there's powered sites, and then there's free area as well.
Yep.
So I made it a bit of a mix. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
cool. Because I feel like you've done a fair bit of camping. yourself?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope it's good. I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
It's
It
all
might
right.
be way worse than it originally was.
Imagine if you did it and everyone's just like, I hate this place, and they just lose heaps of money.
That'd be pretty fun.
Yeah. Do you camp much, Braden? Have you been camping?
I'm
I'm not a camper.
I've been to Burrell Pines before. I just haven't invested in the gear that
Yeah.
makes it easier to go camping. And so like I have a tent, but like say if you're going somewhere that's not powered or whatever, I don't have the necessary. I've never like invested in having the necessary gear to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to go and have fun and borrow stuff and whatever. But yeah, I don't. It's not something that I grew up doing. So,
Same.
Yeah.
I just feel like I know, like any holiday you got to pack, right? You got to pack your clothes, but I feel like with camping you have to do extra packing, and then when you get there you got to do extra setup, and then when you leave you got to do extra packing down again.
Yeah. But there's something really relaxing about camping.
I think that's true. Like it's kind of like you disconnect from
Yeah.
everyday life. I think that's pretty good.
Definitely.
Yeah. Because you also went around Australia though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Can you tell us? I may be jumping ahead, but tell us about that. Like, was it fun?
Yeah, it was like 4 months. We went around like underneath, and then I kind of shot across, and then went up the west coast pretty slowly, and then back down the middle and over.
Really?
It was pretty fun. We went to most places. We went to one place, the Karajini, which is, it always sticks out. It's like it's like red land, and then there's like massive gorges in the middle of nowhere. It's like
Really?
lovely water going through them and stuff. You like climb down and then have a swim.
Is that in Northern Territory?
Oh no, it's like
WA.
near Perth, but like inland pretty much.
Okay.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
So it was like the one time we popped off the west coast just for that, and it was worth it.
Yeah, awesome. It's I would like to go to. Is it Arnhem Land?
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
in the Northern Territory.
That place looks awesome.
We haven't been there.
Yeah.
You have to get like a permit or something to go in there.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I don't
Oh.
know. It's like, I don't know, fancy or something. I don't know.
Maybe it's like protected or whatever.
Yeah, something like that.
It's fancy. Too fancy for me. Too fancy for Hudson for sure.
What? I'll just continue to the next one.
Hudson's tipped.
Hudson is out.
He's done.
Well, he's had his Powerade plus Boost and he's probably gone to throw up. All right, Ted, let's ask you the first question.
Yeah,
How do you like to eat hot chips?
definitely just plain salt.
Yes.
Nothing. Yeah, I knew you'd like it. Yeah.
Just plain salt, nothing else,
Yeah.
no sauce or anything?
I often find you got to add a bit more plain salt than the shop does.
Ah, so you additional salt.
Yeah.
Oof. Is there a specific salt that you use?
I mean, we have pink Himalayan at home.
Yeah.
So
Anything, whatever's available. really?
yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, okay.
If they got those little packets, they do.
Oh, they do small packets of Himalayan salt?
No.
Oh.
Like at the shops.
Oh,
sometimes
yeah,
they
like
have
the
those.
little.
Yeah.
Sorry, I
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
you were saying. I didn't know you could get Himalayan salt in a little fun size
I don't think you can.
Mm.
That'd be a business idea for you, Joel.
Yeah, exactly. Joel walking around with very full pockets next week.
You guys need salt? Guys, this pink Himalayan salt.
Salt.
It's from the Himalayas. Right, well, I like it. He's a bit of a man after my own heart, Ted.
Yeah.
My thought was always when we would get chips at the kick around, you'd have when Ted lovingly would go and get chips sometimes.
Well,
He would get it.
legend.
He would get two larges, one would be chicken salt and one would be plain salt.
Yeah.
That's a good move. You're just taking care of everyone.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Suits everyone's
Man of
needs.
the people.
Man of the people. I think Ted is a man of the people.
Yeah.
In my experiences with him. Okay, so second question, Ted. How did you become a Christian?
Well, I've kind of always been a Christian. Like, grew up in a Christian household. I used to think that was kind of boring, like a bit of a boring testimony, but it's kind of cool that it's so simple.
Mm.
But I remember a time in Year 4, I was walking to school with Mum,
Mm.
and I was like, I was just randomly was like, Mum, I don't want to go to hell. And so then she was like, well, you got to pray to God and then you won't go to hell. So I did that. And then I was like, I don't know, that wasn't really a defining moment, but it was just like something I remember.
Yeah.
And then in 2022, I got confirmed.
Yeah.
That was like more of a defining moment, I think. there was a group of us that we all got confirmed together.
Mm.
That was pretty cool. And then another thing I remember is LIT last year.
Yeah.
I've been still this year actually. But that was kind of a defining moment as well. I kind of got to meet with a group of fellow Christians, and I kind of started living a lot more like, I don't know, I just kind of like I went and started a prayer group, and I kind of I got more involved, I think would be the word. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been like more intentional.
Yeah,
Know what I mean?
definitely.
Yeah, sick. So take me back a little bit though. You walk into school. So you went to Gymea.
Yeah, Gymea Public.
Gymea Bay or Gymea?
Gymea Bay.
Bay.
Gymea Bay.
Mm.
Is there a Gymea?
There's Gymea North.
It's not as flat Gymea though.
No, I don't think so.
No, right. So if you walk into school, can you how old were you at that
I
time?
think I was around 4.
4.
I think I was walking to school in kindergarten or year 1 or something.
Yeah.
Pretty early.
If you're 4, it's probably kindergarten.
Yeah.
So do you remember at all? Do you have a thought of like what you felt about hell? Because one of the reasons I'm asking this question is because I'm having these conversations with my son Leo. He's 10,
Yeah.
and he's talking about like he's becoming more like, no, I am a Christian. Like he's developing that more, an identity. Like he's becoming more aware of his identity and saying, oh, I am a Christian. So I'm interested if you can remember when you were that age, like what your kind of understanding and concept of hell was and why you didn't want to go to hell.
I can't really remember exactly. I think I just knew it was bad. I didn't want to go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, you've obviously been going to, like, growing up in a Christian household, but also then going to church and stuff. And so your understanding of that's developing. So you just knew, this isn't a place that I want to go to.
Yeah. And also I knew that it wasn't heaven. So if you went to hell, you weren't going to heaven. So.
That's interesting. So the comparison between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's always interesting, though, how, as we go through on this podcast, there's always these defining moments. So you said before that you think you have a boring story, but
Yeah.
it is no story about becoming a Christian is boring. It's just
Yeah,
different. But in every story, there's always these defining moments of almost like testing your faith of being, I am a Christian. So in a sense, like even when you're that young, that's a defining moment, which is why you brought it up. So what was the next one? It was
Getting confirmed.
getting confirmed. Now, that was a discussion that we had with Fee a while ago on the Shock Absorber, about saying that you have to really make a decision there, and it's a really defining moment. Can you remember anything around like doing confirmation classes and going, yes, I believe this and I really want to take hold of it?
I don't know. I think I didn't really have to make much of a decision. I think it was more the decision to, like, I think at that time I started reading my Bible every day. Like, the decision to become more involved, I think it was more than the decision that, like, is God real? I think I'd already made that kind of slowly.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then this was like, yes.
Yeah, and I've got to, like, actually do something about it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What's it like growing up, like in between that time, like let's say that time when you, like, I don't want to go to hell, and then this time when you're getting confirmed, which would have been, you're in year 10
Yeah.
when you got confirmed? In between those times, what's your experience as living as a Christian at primary school and then going to high school?
So, like, in much of my experience in school, I think it was pretty easy, to be honest. Like, I went to chip lunch and hung out with people. I didn't really have any Christian friends at school, but that didn't really matter. And then was going to youth. It was in COVID for a bit. That was a bit hard, but like online. But there was never really like anything like Stu had his thing where his friends were like trying to force him to go drinking and stuff. But I never really had anything like that. They were all pretty chill with my faith. They even came to late night and stuff. So yeah, everyone was really chill at school. They didn't really care that I was a Christian.
Is it probably because you were so tall?
Maybe.
We can't mess with this dude. I thought, well, you can't mess with the basketball team.
No.
Easily. Yeah, right. And then so if it was chill, have you ever had anyone challenge your faith, like go at you about it? Ever?
No, never.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's really interesting. Because my experience, I don't know, Braden, your high school, like people would know you were going to chip lunch and things like that. I remember being called a churchy, but I didn't. It wasn't too bad though.
Nah, yeah, I think people would just spout maybe something that they
Read
knew
on the
about,
internet.
about religion. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, we were kind of the height of the new atheist kind of thing. So you just
Yeah.
have someone spout some quote that they didn't really understand at you.
Can you remember one?
I can remember like
God is not real.
I can remember getting into an argument
Oh,
with someone, but I don't remember specifically what they were talking about.
oh, that was.
I think
gonna
they,
be
and
spicy.
again, they were the type of person that was just trying to be confrontational.
and get something out of it.
Or just thinking, like, I don't know. I think there's sometimes that opinion that's like, I'm enlightened. I need to enlighten these other stupid people, kind of vibe. So, but yeah, again, nothing like worrying. Just a bit antagonistic.
Yeah, okay. Ted, has there been times where you've had to come home and really like chat to your parents about what it's like to be a Christian, or like if you've got questions about it? Because that was funny how you said to Mum, "Oh, Mum, I don't want to go to hell."
Yeah. I don't think so. I've probably had questions like when I'm writing a talk for Chip Lunch or something, but
Yeah,
not really like, I don't know, not just like randomly. I don't know.
really.
I don't think so, no.
Anything like that's your biggest challenge to your faith so far? Like, because you are only 17.
I don't know. I don't think I've had many challenges. And probably the biggest one would be youth at COVID online.
Tell us about that.
I don't know. I didn't really like the online thing. I think it was a bit hard, but the youth team did do a good job at trying to continue.
Oh, thanks, Ted.
Like, yeah.
Why didn't you like it?
I don't know. It's just like wasn't like the same. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hard to replicate in
Yeah.
real life youth.
Yeah,
and it's
it
also
can-
like you guys were doing school online,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it's like,
I
hey,
mean-
come hang out in front of your computer more. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's a pretty brutal thing for people, especially the people who were working all week on Zooms and stuff, and then the people who were at school on Zoom.
Wasn't really at school very much.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Though.
Yeah.
Like, hey, sit in front of this computer and do school, and then like, hey, come back and sit in front of this computer some more.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you tell? Like, it's sorry to talk over top of you, Brad. Tell me, it's always interesting having. We've had like Hudson on before, and Macy, and those guys who had the experience of dealing with COVID lockdowns at school. Can you tell us what it was like for you? Because you said you didn't like it, obviously.
Well, I didn't like the youth part of it, but I liked the rest of it. 'Cause I was in like year 8 and year 9 for it, so it was
Yeah.
like the perfect age to not do any school.
So true.
So I'd maybe like knock it out in like an hour, 20 minutes, somewhere between there,
Yeah.
and then just like play games. My friend had a Minecraft server, so we used to all get on that.
Yeah.
And had a great time.
Oh wow. Okay. Because some people say, what would be your observation? Is that has that affected people, like the COVID lockdowns? Do you think, from what you've seen at school?
I don't know. It's definitely. I think there's a gap in like that we didn't get to hang out with each other like socially for like 2 years. But I think school wise, like I don't think it's affected us that much.
Oh, okay. But you said not seeing each other. Do you think? What are the social implications
Well,
of
I
that?
think everyone's just like a little. At least I think I'm a little lacking. Like, just because I didn't see anyone for like 2 years, it's like you. It's like there's definitely a gap there. I think it's like in those developmental years.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. Because I think I've sort of already said before. I've just finished this book by Jonathan Haidt on Anxious Generation.
Yeah.
It's called Anxious Generation, and it talks so much about how people growing up in high school really shouldn't be obsessed with their devices because they don't learn those social cues
Mm.
and learn, like, when we're talking to each other, that to read facial expressions. And so they come out going, I don't know how to deal with certain social situations, and they lack resilience to actually deal with them. And do you think that would be the case with your kind of
Yeah. Probably.
teachers love this word, cohort?
Yeah, I think a cohort definitely.
Yeah, okay. How do you, as a Christian though, do you find like you want to help people with that stuff?
Yeah.
Like to give them some love and just hang out with them?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like, I'll invite people to late night and hang out.
To what? Sorry.
Late night. And
Oh,
hang
yeah,
out
sick.
and chip lunch. It was a bit hard with chip lunch because in year 12 you finish the period early, so everyone just leaves before lunch.
Oh, because this is
Yeah.
at Kirrawee.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is that what happened when you were there too? They
Yeah, in year
finished?
12, yeah. Yeah. You
Oh,
finished
really?
It, like whatever it was, part.
1:30.
Yeah, but that was when chip lunch was on a different day, I think. I can't remember what day it was on when I was at school.
Oh, it was always Fridays for us.
Yeah.
Never known it to be anything but Friday.
Yeah, maybe it was. No, but Friables was on Friday. That's what's confusing me.
Oh,
I don't actually. So there was like a student-led Bible study that was on Friday.
Oh, this is
I think
this is the
because
thing that Riley
because
started.
Fee was at Gymea High on Friday. I don't remember. It was on a different day, and then it became Friday. I think when I was in year
Yeah,
later on.
It was always Friday lunchtime for us.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you? Friday
Yeah,
lunch?
Friday lunch.
Yeah.
But then people would finish before lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Friday in year 12 you'd finish earlier.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wednesday was our early day. Yeah, we went home at like 12:30.
So they're early on Tuesday and Friday.
It's
Thursday
2 days.
was my
Tuesday,
yeah.
everyone else is on sport.
yeah.
Oh, sport is Tuesday
Yeah.
Yeah.
at Kirrawee. Oh,
Yeah. My memory was I had on the Thursday I had triple art and then double music and I was done.
Hey, you finish early on Thursdays.
So it was like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday I finished early.
Did you say you had double art?
A triple art.
Triple art.
Triple art, double music, and then we were done. And the art teacher would
Oh,
always
this is your
miss the
dream.
first period because he would
crazy.
drop his kids to school. And so it was just like, yeah, it was the best. It was the best day. Thursdays ruled.
Wow,
Yeah.
that is a good day. Triple art. Well, how long are your periods?
Oh, I don't remember. They've changed it now. It's
They're an
not the
hour
same.
now.
Yeah, they definitely weren't an hour. They were just maybe like 45 minutes or something. It was like the early, there was in year 11 and 12, you had 0 periods.
Zero
Yeah.
period.
And in other, until you got to that point, you didn't.
They didn't do that many 0 periods in my school because I did English extension and that was a 0 period on a Wednesday morning, I think.
Oh, that was the thing. Anyone who did English extension had Friday afternoon.
Oh,
Yeah, that was the thing. If you did extension English, you had to do Friday afternoon.
Oh, that would
which
suck
like
so
cut
much.
that class dramatically.
Wow, that's really bad.
Everyone else got to leave before lunch, and then if you did English extension, you had the 2 periods after lunch on a Friday afternoon.
Oh, 2, yeah. We had extension English in the morning, like I said, but there was only like 6 of us in it.
Yeah,
And then people dropped out.
yeah.
The one that really got me was that my now wife, Karen, she was doing it, but then we had to write like the first chapter of a novel.
Mm.
And she got to the last day. There was like the day before, and then she dropped out of it, so she didn't have to do the assignment. I'm like, duh! That annoys me. That annoyed me so much. I was like, don't quit. But I remember staying up till 2 a.m. writing it. It was like based on Dracula.
Well, I'm sure we'll have a dramatic reading at some point.
Oh, I don't know where it is. There's no way I'm reading that. I'll do a dramatic reading of something else, but I won't read that. That would be terrible. Anyway, let's go back to Ted.
Let's start talking about Ted rather than
Let's
just
start talking
random
about Ted.
high school timetables from 10 years ago.
It's more than 10 years ago for me. It's 20 years since I finished school this year. And it shows, doesn't it?
I made no comment.
Look at Hudson in the back laughing at that. You just be quiet over there, man.
Ted, you mentioned growing up, going to church. Do you have any memories of doing like kids' church or like you obviously knew about heaven and hell when you were in kindy enough to bring it up and think about it. Do you have any memories of like what kids' church looked like for you, especially when you were younger?
I can't remember. We
Yeah.
went to Gymea.
Yeah.
I can't even picture the hall or anything. In
Oh,
there.
yeah.
I can know the main building, but just sort of blank.
You were
Yeah.
pretty young, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when were you born?
07.
2007. So then we left Gymea at the end of 2011, I think.
Yeah. I think I remember doing playgroup in there one time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That would make sense. I remember you being born and like being around as a young kid. But then, because then there was kids' church at I'm just thinking about it. At PAC, we decided to have a kids' ministry. So you would have done that, though, hey?
Yeah, I think I remember that room like upstairs behind the stage, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
a room there. Yeah, that's right.
I can't remember there was like a factory before this factory or something. I don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
That might have been only the youth factory.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
that's
the-
the venue.
Right.
Yeah. So that was. I don't know when we stopped going there, but that's when that's where I first started going to youth group. Was at the
Yeah.
venue on Waratah Street in Kirrawee.
And that was only for youth.
Mainly, yeah. So we had Solies there as well.
Yeah, okay. That's why I wouldn't remember.
But then, yeah, but then we moved from that to Soli's house.
Mhm.
And I think one of the reasons that we started Soli's Arvo, which was for people that had kids, was because one of the reasons because you were born. I think
Right.
so that was obviously your mum and dad, Brad and Anna,
Mm.
were like, oh, it's hard for us to stay late, and they started creating the thing called Soli's Arvo for parents like your mum and dad who had just had kids. You could still hang out in Soli's before Soli's had commitments, and then so it was like the precursor to figuring out. Like, cause I think it was kind of I might get all the kids born at the right time, but it's kind of just Ethan around at the time with Stu and Lou,
Mm.
and then people like your mum and dad started having kids,
And Hudson.
and yeah,
And the
Eli.
Darvells.
yeah, the Darvells as well. So that's where the Arvo idea came from.
Yeah.
So you're always impacting how we do church, Ted.
Yeah.
But sorry, your original question though was anything that you actually remember growing up, even in youth, that kind of shaped your faith.
I don't think so. I kind of just like it helped me know things like the stories and like the knowledge, but I don't think it shaped my faith. I don't know. It would have been like a slow burn. I don't think it was any dramatic moment that I remember.
Mm. Do you reckon that's again, I'm asking as a question, like I said, with my kids in mind. Do you reckon that's a thing for growing up in a Christian household? Is it just like, it's just there, you are a Christian, and it's kind of like a slow burn?
Yeah, I think it's just like the norm. Like you just don't know any different. I think.
Because your grandparents are Christians too,
Yeah.
right? So they've to have them as an influential part of your life as well.
Yeah, my grandpa's like a minister as well. So
Yeah.
it's like,
He is, hey?
yeah.
Yeah, so that's really cool. I mean, yeah, growing up in such an influential Christian environment, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lovely.
You mentioned though the prayer group, and this is what I want to spend a fair bit of time on because I
Yeah.
really love it. And I want you to tell the story, but when we had that chat with Aurelia back in I don't know, it was back when we were at the factory, so it was probably almost two years
Just
ago.
after Aurelia had finished HSC.
Just after she
so
finished that,
was-
and that was coming out of COVID, wasn't it? And they weren't allowing other groups to gather. They were allowing other groups to gather, but they said, no, this Christian group can't gather.
Right.
And so she basically lobbied
yeah.
the principal to be able to have that happen. So this is like, to hear stories like yours and Aurelia's is really encouraging to me because I feel like I wish I could have done that more when I was at school. And I think Brandon and I have spoken that before on the podcast. How did that start at Kirrawee? You were like, I just want to start a prayer group. Like, why did you want to do that?
Well, Ethan had mentioned it probably like a few months ago before LIT, and I kind of just dismissed it. Like, I don't really want to do that. Like, it sounds kind of hard.
Yeah.
How would I run that? But then at LIT, they have this thing where you run a prayer group for a few kids in the younger years. And so I did that, and half the kids didn't show up, but there was just me and this other guy leading these other two guys. And I realized it was kind of chill. We just had a chat, had a bit of a pray, and then that was it. I was like, oh, okay, it's not that hard. And then Josh was like, Ted, we should start a prayer group at our school. I was like, yeah, we could. So then I was like, yeah, okay. So I talked to Ethan, and Miss Smythe is the scripture teacher at our school.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miss Yee is like Ethan's like Christian contact, I guess, with the school. So she helped me to kind of start the process. And then there was a few things I had to do, like to get a teacher to look after it, and I had to get someone to mark the roll and find a room and do all this paperwork.
Yeah.
But once that happened, it was pretty easy.
So, like, did you just turn up yourself, or did you? Who is Josh, by the way? Sorry,
Josh Jones.
Oh, it was Josh Jones. That's sick. That's it. He's cool. Okay. So then you two just turned up?
No, well, I got Lucy and all her friends to show up. They made a group chat. There's a few people in it from
Nice.
like Amity and just people we knew that went to Kirrawee.
Yeah.
And then we all just showed up.
That is Lucy, your sister.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Just as if anyone doesn't know who Lucy was, that's all.
Yeah.
And so, like, what year was this?
this
You're-
is this year.
This year?
Term. I started trying to get running in term 1, and then by the start of term 2, I think that was our first one.
And what day was it?
It was on a Thursday.
Thursday
or
lunchtime?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And what happened? Did lots of people come, or did it
Yeah.
have an impact on the school?
There was like 10 people on the first one. I think the max we got, I think I remember counting 20 or something like that.
Really?
So we got pretty good.
And you just would have a chat and a pray?
Yeah, we would just sit down, eat our lunch, and like halfway through I'd be like, all right, let's pray. And I'd come up with like a different way to pray each time. So like we did teaspoon or the Skittle thing where you like get a Skittle and then it's like TSB, depends on the colour or something.
What is that? Hang on. Tell me more about this one. I haven't heard this one.
So you get like a bag of Skittles and you take out a Skittle, and if it's like red, then
Yeah.
you pray for please, or like depending on the color you pray for something different on the teaspoon.
Okay.
One I did was we got airplanes, we wrote a prayer on them and then we threw them to the other side of the room, and then everyone had to go grab it, and then like a different paper plane, and then
Yeah.
we'd all sit down and pray for the thing on our thing.
They're just kind of randomizing it.
Yeah, just
Makes
trying to
sense.
have a bit of fun with the prayer.
Yeah, sick. That's cool.
Yeah.
Did you like doing that?
Yeah, it was good to come up with it.
Yeah.
We had like some small training for our prayer group at LIT, so they had like a little few lists of ideas, so I took some off that.
Oh, okay, cool. Now, I want to come back to the program, but you keep mentioning LIT. So where did that fall in the...
LIT, Leaders in Training,
Yeah.
it's like a 3-year thing,
Okay.
so it's at the start of the year. And this year I did my 3rd year, so
Can I ask you a question? I don't want to feel like I'm calling you out. So the first LIT, on one of the days of LIT, they asked leaders to come down and just basically have a debrief and chat to you about how LIT is
I
going.
don't know where this is.
And so Ethan, I think was it Ethan and I? Or was it Greaves and I? It was
think it was
Greaves and I.
Greaves,
Greaves and I. What a
we
powerhouse.
came down, and I think it was on Australia Day.
It was,
Anyway, yeah. We came down to have a chat. And was it you, Hudson and Daniel?
And Eli.
And Eli were there at LIT, and this was your first LIT.
Yeah, it was everyone's first.
And I won't say what was the reason you were there, but you were bribed to be there. So you obviously weren't like so excited that you were going to be there. Anyways, you had
Yeah.
been bribed with something to go along.
What?
So I'm interested. Obviously, there's a pretty big shift between, I'm having fun at LIT and I'm inspired to start a prayer group, and I'm being bribed to go along. Like, what was the shift? Was it just getting along and having fun, and that's what helped you like get more excited about it, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I just had fun, and I was like, well, I'm going to go back next year.
Yeah.
So
With the bribe or no bribe?
no bribe second time.
What was the bribe the first time?
I got a laptop.
From who?
My dad. The thing was, Hudson and Daniel and Eli were going to go with Amelia and Tara, but then I think Tara got sick,
Okay.
so then I took her spot at like the last minute.
Yeah.
It was like 5 days before or something I decided to go.
Uh-huh.
And then I had a great time. It's very worth it.
Oh, that's cool. And you got a laptop out of it too.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I was very happy.
Yeah.
Wow. Is it's just your dad's old work one?
No, it was a new one.
Oh, new one too. Goodness
My
me.
dad told me, and then like he was expecting me to get excited, but I was just researching laptops. He was like, "You're meant to be getting ready for LIT."
Get off the laptop, man. The old laptop that I'm replacing.
I just remember Greaves and I were at, I think we were at an Australia Day thing. I think it was at Dan Gales. And then we left early to come down, and we had come down, and you guys were just bouncing off the walls because
That's right.
and all you wanted, it was like, debrief on what you've learned, but you just wanted to chat about how you'd been torturing each other or just general frivolity, which was very funny, but had very little to do with what we were actually meant to be doing. It's very fun.
So what's the deal that at LIT they ask you for your youth leaders to come and debrief what they've learned at LIT?
Yeah.
It's like
So
to
you just come
take
down
it home.
Yeah.
like,
Just
put into
come down for an
practice.
arvo.
Oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
Take what home?
like your skills.
Yeah. Yeah. Which you did do though.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's the cool thing about it. But not until the final year of LIT. Is that right?
Yeah, because in the first 2 years you're just a participant in the prayer group, and then the last year you lead the prayer group for the younger kids.
Right. I see.
Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know LIT went that early in. Well, that's really cool.
What do you mean that early?
Oh, in terms of like, I knew that. I don't know. LIT is before you finish high school. I was getting confused with year 13.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about doing year 13?
Yeah, I've booked it in.
Oh, no bribe.
No, bribe. Well, my parents are paying for it, so I think that might count.
I've got a question for you though. Have you been working recently?
Not yet.
What? And there's no criticism of that. I'm just interested because some people do, some people don't before they finish high school. Why haven't you decided to do that?
Well, I just thought that I've got a long time to start working. I thought I'd try and push that back as far as I can.
Yeah. Okay.
And I don't know, you're in the young ones, so may as well enjoy it.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
So true, isn't it, Braden?
But I think that time I've ended, I'm trying to get a job now, like in between schoolies, and
Okay. What are you trying to do?
looking at a trades assistant or a labourer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just like working with tradesmen and on the job sites and things like that.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Are you looking for that yourself?
Dad's helping me, but
Yeah, I was going to say your dad would probably be able to help you with that because he's a builder.
he's got lots of connections.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, that's cool. Have you ever done any labouring or anything before for dad?
Yeah, it was one time got some concrete bags and I carried them down some stairs, helped him under a house and stuff.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
used to go like in the holidays, I'd just tag along with Dad for a day
Yeah. Okay.
when I was little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your relationship with your dad and like how you think it's shaped you and how much like what you love about it? Because I can tell you guys love each other.
Yeah, I love my dad. I don't know. He's always hung out. Not too sure. I don't know. He's always made sure I came to church. Like some those days I didn't want to go, and Mum would make sure I'd got to come along, even if I didn't want to. But recently we got a lot more close. We love boating, so we go that together. Wakeboarding, jet skiing and stuff.
Yeah. Cool.
What was the question again?
Oh, just like tell us about your relationship with your dad.
Yeah, we're pretty close, I'd say.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, we love each other a lot.
Yeah, I think that's the reason I asked the question. I think that's obvious.
Yeah.
I think that's why I was asking you because, like, when I think of my relationship with my son, I don't think there's a better one. To be honest,
Yeah.
maybe I'm misspeaking there, but I think it's just like I feel really encouraged when I see the relationship that you guys have, and I know and you can tell that he really cares and loves about you, and then I think it's really cool to see that in action in the church. I think that's a really encouraging thing to have, and I think your dad is really intentional about that too. I think he's thought about it a lot. That's why I wanted to bring that up because I think that's really cool. So if you're going to become a trades assistant though, or do that kind of stuff, so no plan to go to uni.
No.
that was very nah. I'm not doing that.
After year 13, probably gonna do an electrical apprenticeship.
Oh, electrical.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So year 13, like all of year 13, do you do that all the entire year, like next year? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sick.
And 2 days a week I'll do trades assistant and then electrical apprenticeship.
So that's the plan. Okay, I get it. Why do you want to do electrical? Because so that would be, for example, that's a bit surprising, only because your dad's like a chippy and a builder. Why do you want to do electrical?
I did work experience with an electrical guy and I kind of enjoyed it. It's like, I think it's a bit more thought than other ones. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just enjoy like how it is. I don't know, the wires and
How you got to run cables.
yeah,
all
it's
that
just
stuff.
like
Yeah.
more logical. I don't know.
Yeah.
I did work experience for a day with the plumber because the electrician, I couldn't go with him one day.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he said, "Don't become a plumber."
Why?
You get paid the most if you're a plumber.
Yeah, plumbers can make some money.
It's
but
pretty
yeah.
brutal.
you got to deal with poop.
Yeah, that's it.
Is that why you said don't become a
I
plumber?
think so. I don't know. He was just like really ominous. Just don't become a plumber.
Don't ever become a plumber.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll die.
Listen to me.
Yeah, listen, don't do it. It's not a good idea. Yeah, I reckon if it had to be a building trade, I'd reckon I'd do electrical.
Yeah.
I think that's, especially when I see, like on building sites, that's the easiest thing. Like not the easiest, but it's more interesting.
Yeah.
than, like putting in pipes as a plumber or the carpenter who's responsible for everything. You're like, I can just put in the cables in, mate. That's it, and then you just got to run it the right way. And
Well, there's
there
a
you
lot
go.
of crawling through things, I think, at the start.
Yeah, true.
You're the person who has to get under the house or in the roof or...
Maybe, yeah, that's the bit I wouldn't like.
Yeah.
Especially with Ted being so tall.
No.
that's going to be hard when you become a Sparky and you're like,
Yeah. Easy to put things up high.
you don't even need a step ladder. You
Yeah,
don't need the
true.
full ladder.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So you said you're going to do year 13 beforehand. What got you keen on doing year 13?
Well, I saw Eli, and he's doing talks at Chip Lunch, and he wasn't even he didn't write it out. I thought that blew my mind away. He was just so he knew what he was going to say, and I don't know. I just thought that was so cool how much he knew. And then I went on a trip with my grandpa, and he offered to pay for half of it. And I don't know if my parents are going to take him up on his offer, but it just it was like, wow, this means a lot. Like if he's willing to pay that much
yeah.
for me to go.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense. It's yeah, the talking without too many points is really cool. So you reckon that Eli doing that is just because of the training that he's
I
done
don't
that
know,
he's
yeah,
had?
he just knew a lot. And not even just that, at youth he was really a good leader, I don't know. But I just saw that improvement over the year that he was at year 13.
Okay, that makes sense. And so, but why do you want to get those skills?
I don't know, it's be a good youth leader. I don't know. It seems like a good idea.
Yeah.
Be more foundation, in my faith.
Okay.
What's the word? Connected, kind of.
Yeah. So is it kind of because you've grown up in a Christian household and you've got the thing where you've got a lot of the knowledge, right? You
Yeah.
understand the Bible, you know all the right answers, kind of thing. Jesus died on the cross for my sins, all that stuff.
Some of them, yeah.
But now I feel like you say some of it.
I wouldn't say all of them.
Okay. You know what I mean, all the basic knowledge and stuff. That's
Yeah.
the foundational stuff that you're saying. But what I hear from you, what I hear you saying now is, I want to really build on that.
Yeah.
And so you see Eli doing that, and then you've done LIT, and then you want to do year 13. It's just another stepping stone to kind of building on that faith and trying to live that out. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's
Go
good.
to the next level.
I like that. Next
Yeah.
take to the next level.
How have you, speaking of Eli's experience, how have you found, as someone who is generally, and let me know if I'm just projecting this, or if someone who's generally a little bit more soft-spoken or a little bit introverted, how have you found, how did you find that shift of, doing a Chip Lunch talk or starting a prayer group? Am I right in saying that's probably you getting out of your comfort zone?
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
How did you find that? Was there things that helped with that, or was it some things like LIT or what helped you grow in that skill? Because I think there's lots of people who would love to get involved and do certain things, but aren't necessarily don't like getting out of their comfort zone, or maybe they don't even know where to start.
Yeah, I think definitely LIT, because they gave me the training to actually know what to do to write down the talk.
Like a structure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they give you things to fill in. But then in the actual writing of the talk, Mum and Ethan helped me a lot, with writing them out. I could go to Bible study and Ethan would give me a few pointers.
Yeah.
But then I think definitely with my comfort zone, just the people I was talking to, I hung out with them at youth all the time, and
Yeah.
I was really comfortable with those crew, so it was really cool to. Wasn't a big challenge, I don't think, because I knew them so well.
Yeah, true. I think I just can't overstate the impact of someone having belief in you being able to do something. You know what I mean? I definitely I hate public speaking. I hate it.
So
I
you
actually
became
hate
a
it. Well, it's part of my
full-time
job now, but
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I think I can't overstate someone being like, oh, I think you could do this. You know what I mean? And whether that's youth leading something up the front or something
Yeah.
that just happens. Like, I think the way that we can empower each other, you end up in places you never thought you could because someone encourages you to help develop and grow that skill. Does that make sense?
Totally. But I think also, like, on the flip side of that, I think you're 100% right. The flip side of that, when someone steps out and does it, like, I think that gets me even more fired up. Like,
Yeah.
that's why I was saying, Ted, before, like, you deciding with you and Josh to do the prayer group thing. Wow, that's so sick. Like, and it makes me like, man, I could have done that when I was in high school, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter really. But it's super encouraging to see young crew like yourself going, I'm just going to do this. And it only took a computer bribery to help you do that. But I think, like, off the back of that question, I think you're right. I want to ask you, Ted, and it's kind of what Braden said before, like, you're probably a bit more withdrawn, a bit more softly spoken. I'd be interested to know, like, maybe why you think that's kind of your standard operating procedure. Like, and then what made you want to, like, challenge yourself and get out of that? Or not get out of that, but challenge yourself and actually speak in front of people?
I don't know. I think it was like with LIT, they just prepare you to do that. So it's like they don't even ask like if you want to. I don't know.
It's like you have to do this.
No, well, it's just like I know how to do it now. I could do it. So it's like,
Oh, right.
and then I felt comfortable enough with those people to give it a go. I thought I know it's good to get out of my comfort zone, so I give it a go.
Yeah, it is. Like, and maybe it's linked to, like, God saying, like, keep on this, building on this foundational faith that you've been able to get from being in a Christian family and having Christian grandparents and all that kind of stuff. He's now saying, like, this is now your opportunity. And I think you've grasped that. I think that's the other thing. Like, you could say no. You can go, oh, I don't want to do that. Like, initially you didn't want to go to LIT, for example, but then you're like, oh, lucky I did, because...
Yeah.
And it's just, the encouraging thing is that, as I was saying before, is just to see you and other people who I was once your age, just, like, growing and being willing to share your faith and willing to not just lead at youth, which is something I want to ask you about, but not just lead at youth, do this at school, like, publicly do it at school. So you could have gone, all the paperwork, it's too much. Oh, I got no worry about it. But you pushed through and got it done, right?
Yeah.
Because you have this stronger motivating force, which is to share the gospel and also live it out, that's why you've actually ended up doing it. And so my thoughts are, like we said before, you may be a little bit quieter, but because your faith is really strong, you're okay to step out of that and go, this is what I'm going to do. Like, and God, and empower. It's empowering, isn't it? Like, the gospel is empowering for you to be able to do this stuff, because not only is it, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, but it's also, if I'm out of my comfort zone and I fail, like, that's the other thing. I know, like, God's got me anyway. I think that's what's really cool. So there's no question there, but I think it's more a point of, like, I'm really excited about how you and other young crew at our church are trying to do stuff like that. Like, Josh is another good example. Like, he's going for it. Like, it's really cool.
Yeah.
The question I did want to ask you about is youth leading.
Yeah.
And why don't we start with what youth was like for you? Because it was probably a different picture for what it was when you growing up in youth to now that you're leading. How did you get into youth group? Did you have to be bribed to go, or did you get made to go, or you wanted to go?
I think I started going at Fuse, and I think I knew something happened on Friday, but I didn't really know, like, that what youth was or anything about it. So it was kind of like a new thing for me. And then I had a great time at Fuse, and then I remember going up to youth, and I went to both for a bit. I was exhausted by the end. And then I remember being like, what, 9:30? It's so late. But yeah, then just had a great time, I don't know. And then COVID kind of
Oh yeah,
the
that
day
took,
after.
that took a big
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then after COVID, there wasn't really people my age around much, but I still had a great time. And then at youth, when I finished youth, I was like, I want to keep coming on Friday, so I became a leader.
That's sick. And so you're this has been your first year of leading?
Second.
Second, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think like God's taught you through like becoming a youth leader? Is it more of that building on that foundational faith?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know if I've been taught much. Youth leading's a lot like being a youth kid, except you just hang out.
You're a bit older.
You just wash up at the end. I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty chill. There hasn't been any really challenging moments, or I don't know.
But are you like loving like just serving together as a team?
Love it.
Yeah.
Just hanging out late into the night. Like we're just like washing up and just having a great time doing. I don't know. We just enjoy whatever we're doing.
There's a lot of relationships built on just cleaning up after youth group.
Yeah.
Like I think I've always enjoyed the idea that we've talked about before of like we're just going to hang out as youth leaders, and if crew come, then we'll definitely welcome them in and hang out with them and love them. But it's also just building relationship as leaders is what's really, really fun about youth leading.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Yeah, totally. And I think part of that is why it's like impacting like the other stuff that you're doing as well. It's like spending more time with Christians who want to lead and serve together. Like it's like this what's the word? Exponential. That's what I was thinking of. It's like exponentially like it helps you with your own personal faith, helps you with your like leading with others. It helps you be Christian outside of any like church or environment like that. And doing all those things together is where it helps you really grow.
Yeah, definitely.
Do we have any other questions, Braden, before we ask the final question?
Yeah.
Oh, you
You mentioned 9:30 being late for youth group.
What's your morning routine?
No. How's the shift into late night from youth? Now that you go to bed a little bit later than 9:30 at night.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the shift was alright. I didn't go for the first 2 weeks, like in the holidays. I think I remember starting like wanting to do it properly, and then I think I just went home with Lewis a lot. He was a legend, but
Yeah.
I think it was alright. Just
Yeah.
and now I just go home like very late from late night. Yeah.
I think the other thing probably you'd seen it for so long. Like you
Yeah.
probably didn't spend time in it, but maybe it makes it a bit easier to transition that you'd seen it for so long.
Yeah.
And back in the day, like your parents were doing that as well.
I think I'd also been doing youth leading for no, that's wrong. Never mind.
No, it's not the case.
No,
Yeah.
got my times mixed up.
I don't get to go to late night that much.
Yeah.
I would like
One
to
day.
return. Yeah, one day. Maybe when Leo starts going. hey, Leo. Hey, man. Dad. No, that'll be my girls. Daddy, stop it. Daddy. That's what I get from Everly all the time at the moment. Daddy.
Okay.
Yep.
I get that from Rob.
Come on, Rob. Shall we ask the final question?
Yes.
All right. Ted, after all these 17 years that we've looked over, what would you tell your younger Christian self? It might be like when you were 4 and saying, I don't want to go to hell, or even when you were confirmed. What would you like to tell your younger Christian self that you know now?
I've been thinking about this one.
Excellent.
I don't think I've come up with a very good answer, but it's like I'd like to get involved a bit more,
Okay.
with like LIT and stuff like that. But also like be a bit more confident to stick out, which I think I did in the end with like the prayer group and chip lunch. But like I could have done that a bit earlier, and there's probably a few times I could have had like a conversation that I would have avoided just because I didn't want to stick out. So probably just don't worry about it. Get involved, don't stick out. Yes,
What-
stick out.
What kind of question would that be if someone asked you that?
I think we were talking about like drinking or something, and someone said, "Oh, Ted, what do you think?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't care." Whereas what I meant was like, I can't really control you guys, but
Oh,
like, I don't want to drink, and I don't.
you'll make that choice.
But it's up to you guys if you guys drink.
Yeah.
Which is what I meant, but I didn't say that. I just wanted to keep
okay.
quiet.
Have there been other moments like that in your life that you kind of wish you'd spoken up more?
There's probably some, but I can't think of any.
Mm. Yeah, okay. I think that's what I'm saying as well. Like, there were so many more opportunities for me to speak up. I mean, it sounds like you have a very civilized friendship group when they're like, "Oh, Ted, what do you think?"
Yeah.
Or he's like, "Oh, as if you'd want to do it, Ted. You're a Christian." Like that. That's what I probably would have got if I was at your age at that time. But yeah, I think having you on the podcast has made me reflect heaps about, oh man, I could have done a prayer group. I could have just had more Christians around to be more encouraging for me.
Mm.
And as I said, like having stories like yours and Aurelia's and others where they're like, "No, I'm going to definitely show everyone I'm a Christian." They're super encouraging. Like we were having that, you're in our community group now. We were having a conversation like that as the group on just the last one we had. It was like, yeah, all of us old people were like, we need you guys. We need you not just to keep us like on our toes, but also to keep seeing you like, yes, this is what we need to be doing as Christians. So it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the podcast
Thank you.
to make those things obvious. Braden, I always like to leave you with the final thoughts. It should be like a segment. And now it's time for Braden's final thoughts. Like
Just like word art.
Yeah.
The blue wavy word art.
Yeah. Are you listening to this, Hudson? You need to make sure you edit it like as such.
Giving Hudson more work. I'm just super proud of you, Ted. I think, as I said, like it's been a pleasure getting to youth lead you and youth lead with you, and do late night with you. Yeah, super stoked. And I think like year 13 and LIT and doing life together has equipped you, and I'm really excited to see how you go at year 13. I think you're going to smash it. And yeah, I think I just enjoy going from like having a relationship where you're in year 7 and you're playing poison chair or whatever, and that's great. And it's super fun. But also like after youth a couple of weeks ago, we just basically did like a Berea 101 and we're chatting heaps about why we do what we do in youth ministry, and we were at youth debrief until like 1 a.m.
Nice.
With Greaves and Eth, I think, talking about that. And so, yeah, it's just like really, really fun to get to grow up together. You know what I mean? And do life together. And that's what I really love about Solies, and I love getting to do it with you, bro. And I'm excited to go on schoolies. Yeah, it's going to be really fun.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I have a request for you, Ted. Can you please keep doing what you're doing?
Definitely.
Because, like I said, we need you to keep doing that. And not you're not responsible for our needs, but I think it's encouraging. I've said that many times, but also you talking about challenging yourself is really cool, and I think to have that self-awareness at your reasonably young age, I think is really, really cool. And I think I see you being like quite reflective about your faith, and I think that's a really good way to continue to be more like Jesus, is to go, oh, I should change this. And I think you do that. I think that's what's cool, and you're empowered by the Holy Spirit to do that. But I think it's good to see you doing it rather than just, oh, I should change. You're actually doing it, and I think that's what's cool, and that's what's encouraging. So, yeah, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks for getting up way too early on a just finished year 12 schedule.
No worries.
Well, before we go, any plans for today?
Yeah, I got to go sign out of school.
Oh, wow, really?
They gave me like 2 days notice. So I was like, I might be able to make it. They're like,
I'm pretty busy, man.
well, it was like between like 8 and 11:30.
Oh, yeah, you should
Maybe
be
like-
right. You should be right.
2 days notice.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Have you got a formal? Or
yeah, that's on
already?
Monday.
Okay.
So I'm going to go get a haircut for that.
Hey,
It's scruffy.
gonna look sick.
Oh, yeah.
Have you got a date for the formal?
No,
Oh,
I don't think
okay.
that's a thing.
Oh, isn't there?
It's not like American prom though.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. People used to go with each other to the formal though. Did that happen? That doesn't happen as
Yeah,
much.
like if people already had
Yeah,
partners.
if you've got a
Like
partner,
I was
then-
going out with Karen by the time we had our
Yeah.
formal.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
that's
if
cool.
like you wouldn't search it out.
No pressure, bro. No pressure. You're gonna do like those crazy prom invite videos that they do for
Yeah,
social media.
yeah.
Oh gosh. Will you come to the prom with me? I can definitely see Ted doing that.
100%.
All right, let's wrap up the chips. Ted,
Yeah.
it's been awesome. It's been awesome
Yes,
having you
man.
on. Thank you,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you very much. Thank you to everyone else that's watching or listening as well.
Yeah.
And I always like to say thank you to my co-host, Braden.
Thank you.
Nice
Phil.
shirt today.
Oh, thank you. I got all dressed up for Ted.
Not for me. Not for me. But for Ted. Yeah, sure. Tallest person in the podcast, would we say that?
Is that what you say? Are you calling me that?
No. Maybe if you were standing on Ted's shoulders.
You're wearing a trench coat, trying to get in.
excuse me.
Excuse me, sir.
That'd be. I'm here for a podcast. All right, cool. Thank you, Braden.
Thank you,
Thank
Joel.
you, Ted. Thank you, Hudson, behind the camera, who almost fell asleep, I think. No?
Nah,
It looked like you did. He was like, what? And we finished with a one-way. Let's do that. One way.